Good afternoon, everyone. How are you all doing? Perfect. I am literally just starting to share the screen with you guys. And let's just wait for a couple people to jump on. How is everyone? I've actually been very, very ill this week, guys. So you have to excuse me if I do start coughing. I'm feeling a lot better. I think this is just going to be my life now. My little one, she brings home illnesses like there's no tomorrow, so I feel like I've been ill quite a lot. But yeah, let me know how your week has been, guys. I really haven't traded very much this week because of how ill I have been. um but yeah, I'm feeling so much better. I'm absolutely fine now. I feel like I just still got the cough. It's just lingering. um But I hope everyone else has had an amazing week. Yes, quick recovery. Fingers crossed. Next week, we're going to be all back to normal. Now, I am a bit cautious because I know there was red folded news this afternoon, but because of the government shutdown, we actually don't know what time that is being released. So, obviously, one of the ThinkCapital rules is that you actually can't close or open a trade during red folder news. Um, so yeah, it's a little bit tricky because, like I said, we do have. I mean, we've got farm employment change and unemployment. Oh yeah, it's unemployment rates. Uh, we don't actually know when that's being released. I don't know if it's already been released, or it's still to yet be released. But yeah, if anyone knows, let me know. Oh, good evening. No, so I don't only trade on trend lines. Let's go through the strategy, guys, because I want to show you guys. Like trend lines is something that I do on the higher time frames. So that's like the 4 hour, the daily. So for example, as you can see here, this black downwards trend was a 4 hour trend line. So waiting for that to break. I mean, this wasn't too much of a long one, but a lot of the time when you're trading like 4 hours and dailies, you're not going to get as many opportunities. I actually, as much as I would love to be a swing trader, I'm just not a swing trader yet, guys. So I do like to kind of be in and out of the markets. I wouldn't say I am um like a proper scalper, but I'm definitely more on the short term side of things. And that's just because I'm still building up my tolerance to holding out on trades. But let's have a little look at what gold is telling us like right now. So for me, I like to trade the market structure. So let me just give you a quick draw out a little example of what for me an example of an upwards trend. So we're creating higher highs and higher lows. So as you saw here, we created an equal high and then we broke this low here. Kind of indicating that we could be moving down. Then we kind of created another high here, but it looks like we could be pushing up. But the only thing is, we still got 3 more hours until this candle closes. So technically, if you are trading the higher time frame, which is the 4 hour, we technically would be looking for sells. But yeah, being able to trade market structure, you can actually do this on any of the time frames. But I like to start with the 4 hour to kind of give us that overall bias. It's a very hard time to kind of really give us a good indication of what way the market is going to be moving because this candle isn't closed. We haven't got that final confirmation, because if this just breaks above here, we can then kind of look at this, being a bit of a correction, a bit of a fake out. Maybe this area here would not really considering as a structure point. But the thing is with this, and the thing with trend lines, and to be honest, any strategy, it's all very subjective. Sometimes people are going to look at the charts and consider one thing, something, and then someone else can look at the charts and they can maybe not even acknowledge it or consider it as another thing. So, like I said, if we were to consider this this to be a low, and again, maybe some people wouldn't consider this a low, but if you did consider this a low and we broke through it, then we could be potentially looking at this kind of pattern here being a bit of a reversal. So, you know, now we created another area here which we kind of really rejected from. So I'm just going to zoom in a little bit so that you guys can see what I'm pointing at. So this area here, which was a higher low. No, sorry, not higher low, a lower high. But then it does look like we are pushing up. But like I said, this candle could very well easily flip back the other way. And obviously, we are playing very, very close to this trend line as well, because, like I said, I like to trade the 4 hour breakouts. 4 hour and the daily, I find that those time frames are a lot more respected to when price actually breaks out of those out of those trend lines. Sorry. So, you know, if this does flip down and break below here, then, you know, I'm definitely all in for the sells. Right, let me have a look and see if we've got any questions. If not, oh, thank you for the guys wishing me a quick recovery. Like I said, I am actually okay, guys. I am literally just I just still sound a little bit ill. But yeah, trendline strategy, I do really, really like it. But I personally think on the lower time frame, it can catch you out a little bit. And again, it's very, very subjective, because sometimes, like, what I consider a trend line, someone else might not consider a trend line. For me, I like more than 2 touch points. High time frame is good. Exactly that. So I actually always enter on the lower time frames, but if I was to trade a breakout of a 4 hour trend line, I actually wouldn't bother going anything lower than a 1 hour. So I just want to make sure the 1 hour structure is telling me the direction I want to go. So for example, if I took a sell because of the 4 hour break, and then I drop down to the 1 hour and we haven't broken the last low, then I'm going to be more reserved, and I may then wait until that has actually been broken, because we may then be considering it to be a fake out. So you have to, I play market structure in with trend lines. Like I feel like understanding market structure and how you trade that is the basis of all the but the two ways that I trade. So yeah, like I said, right now it's a very, very hard thing to be trading if you're going to go off the 4 hour bias. But if we have a look at the 1 hour, because you can trade the 1 hour bias. I took a buy earlier from the structure on the 1 hour. So if I just give you a little example of this area here. So when we want to take, you know, a trade based on the lower time frames, we now have to understand like how we use the top down analysis to actually help us get our entry points. Because to be honest, a lot of the time when I go through this is where a lot of confusion happens, and I think you need to hear it over and over again for it to make sense. But you know, I always get asked, you know, when you're looking at the 1 hour, then you drop down, it's like when do you actually get into that trade? So for me, I always, no matter really what, I like to trade with the trend instead of against the trend. And again, if you actually understand how to trade this, like you can trade both areas, literally the from down here and up here. But the kind of trick is to be extremely patient because a lot of people don't have that patience within them. So, for example, right now on the 1 hour, we are moving in this uptrend. So, like if we're literally just to look at this, we started down here. That's your higher high, higher low. Potentially this could be our higher high, but we need this 1 hour to close. So then ideally what we need, we basically just can't be trading until we get a high or a low. So I'm going to try and show you guys what was happening around here. So I'm going to zoom in so then we can have a look. So let's just have a look at this move here. We wait for the 1 hour to create its high, which is a area of resistance. So we're going to look for a green candle and a red candle printed side by side. Their bodies are aligned. This is now where you can drop down to the 15-minute. See what's happening on the 15-minute. So this is perfect. So what we're having a look for is basically the 15-minute to be pulling back. So even though we're looking for a buy, it's okay that on the 15-minute you see bearish momentum. And again, this is what people get very confused about. This is literally what you want to see. You want to wait until the 15-minute creates a low. So this was the first one here. But if we have a little look on, I'm going to have a look on the 1 minute. If it shows me the data. Is that in the same place? I don't feel like it is. Let me just make sure that I haven't got anything else on, otherwise I'm going to get confused when I start dropping down. So yeah, this is, I don't know what all those other lines were. Let's have a look on the 5-minute. So the 5-minute, once our 15-minute has created its low, let's just have a look and see what it's looking like on that lower time frame. So I'm starting to get I don't think this is what I want to be looking at. So yeah, this is where we've created our low. Now, this is the tricky part because we then start to get our initial move, but this is why it's also very, very important to switch back to the 15-minute, and that is your last confirmation, because the lower time frames can sometimes show a lot of manipulation, basically. So this is what this is where we're at. We've created our 15-minute low. We're now going to see some type of reversal into the buys, which is what we want to see. And we've broken above this structure here, but we're starting to really struggle. But this is exactly why, before you just enter, go back to the 15-minute. And as you can see on the 15-minute, this is what it looks like. That was the last high. It then starts to kind of create this still downwards movement. Again, how we stop ourselves from getting faked out. So if we then go back again to the 5-minute and we just wait for more of this down movement, which we got the down movement, and then we get all of this structure here. When we get a bit of a big push like that, I do actually like to sometimes drop down as well to the 1 minute. I know sometimes people don't really like that, but it kind of gives you it makes you see what's actually really going on kind of minute by minute. Let me just move that to that side. So yeah, this is what you will be seeing on the 1 minute, all of this downward movement, and then we start getting all of this new structure, which it kind of broke out above. I've always had a bit of a thing for candles that have no top wick when you're looking at a breakout. So I would have stood down for this one here, but then we have more structure being created here. Then we finally get like this kind of push up. So it's all about being patient more than anything else, because a lot of the time, this is where people really, really struggle because they're just not patient enough. Like I do kind of have to swap backwards and forwards from the lower time frames to the higher time frames. But yeah, this was kind of like, this would have been like my indication really that we are now breaking structure. If you then wanted to be a little bit more patient, because again, it could be subjective. Someone might not consider that structure, but I personally would definitely see this as structure, which it broke above. And then I like entering at the place that it actually broke out of. So then it breaks above, and then we just have an order on for here, just below those last lows on the 1 minute or the 5 minute. And then depending where you enter, for me, you can either, I love a 1 to 2 or 1 to 3. But if you like to trade with the trend, you kind of stay in it until that trend breaks. So maybe up until it would have broken on, if we took that on the 1 minute, it broke around there. So then that would have been a 1 to 5. But yeah, that's been like my only trade of today. But hopefully that is making sense to you guys. Like I said, at the moment, I'm just feeling quite skeptical about what's going on, because there's going to be a lot of volatility because of the red folder. But maybe news has already dropped. Because yeah, we did obviously have a big drop down there. But yeah, let's just like have a little, I guess, analysis of what is happening right now. I wanted to go over that with you guys so that you could understand what it is that I trade. The lower time frame, the trend is swinging. Yeah, so I don't really, Kian, I don't really pay attention really too much to the trend lines on the lower time frame. Like my lower time frame, like the 1 minute, the 5 minute, I'm literally purely looking at it only for my entry point. Like I don't actually really care what it's saying. All I'm waiting for is like those breaker structures. So I'm not being kind of controlled by what's going on the lower time frame. Do you consider fundamentals in multi-time? I consider fundamentals like overall, but I don't really massively trade fundamentals. And I think if you're not really staying in the trade for that long, and as long as you're not trading during really high volatile times, then it actually really doesn't matter. What is your average? Vivek, I think that's how you pronounce the name. So my normal like risk to reward, like for me, I love a 1 to 2. That's kind of like my safe option. Like I'll always go break even at 1 to 1. That's when I'm trading more safely. And my 1 to 2 is kind of where I take profits off. 1 to 1 is sometimes where I take profits off. It really does depend what time frame I'm trading like the bias off, because if I'm trading the bias off like the lower time frames, like potentially the 15 minute or the 1 hour, then I'm not going to be aiming as high. But because you're going to be able to get in at the correct moments, you can make sure your stop loss is a lot tighter compared to when you are trading something like the 4 hour. My stop losses are a little bit bigger because I'm initiating a bigger move. Would you consider trading live someday? Yeah, so I don't mind trading live, but my issue is I don't like forcing trades. Like I'm gonna do a little bit of analysis now. And if like the right kind of thing kind of shows up for me, like I think this is such an awkward time. Like for me, my trading times really are the London session. I don't really trade New York, if I'm completely honest with you guys. Like I get most of my trades done in the morning. That suits my lifestyle a lot better. I find that I kind of know the market a bit more in London, like how it moves and things. So I also use the Asia highs and the Asia lows as liquidity points for me. So obviously once they have been swept, I don't really know my I I personally just haven't really adjusted a system around New York. And I think it's so important that you trade completely you know how your life is suited, because this is the thing, everyone tries to trade like how someone else trades and it just doesn't work. um I personally do stream on my own personal channels on London Open sessions, because that for me is just, yeah, it's better for actually taking trades. Because like I said, right now, if I was to be trading on the 4 hour, which is what I like to do, I can't do anything until the 4 hour closes, which is in 2.5 hours. When I come on the charts in the morning, it's around like 6 a.m. So that's UK time. We've just had a 4 hour closure, and then we get the 10 a.m. closure as well. So I kind of got a little bit more to go with, rather than like this kind of time, which is a little bit of an awkward time for the 4 hour. But yeah, so going off the 4 hour, there's no real bias for me, because right now, technically, we should still be bearish. Let's have a look at the 1 hour. The 1 hour for me is bullish. So again, if I was to trade the 1 hour time frame, which is fine, we're trading it, we're going up, we just have to be wary that really at any point it can switch back to the 4 hour bias, which is currently bearish. So a lot of the times when I like to trade the lower time frames, I like to go in alignment with the 4 hour, just in case it does change. But yeah, so right now for me, the 1 hour is still looking bearish, but I suppose we could be potentially looking for a sell once this has closed, because this gives us our indication. Sorry guys. This gives us our indication that a high has been created. So I'm just going to move my phone. I keep having to switch it over. So let me just show you. If we're now, say from here, we create our high, then we push down and then start coming down. We need to first create that high. And even on the 1 hour here, the last time it pushed up here, it still failed to break above here. So maybe it looks like we keep trying and we keep failing. So I'm very much open to it still being a sell, but we would need to wait for this 1 hour to close, because I need that confirmation that that high is done. So if I'm looking to take a sell, we're more likely now to move down. Whereas if we were still extending up, we don't know how far we're going to extend before we start to pull back. I hope that makes sense to you guys. Yes, top-down analysis is definitely, I would say, the way that I trade. Juliet, but yes, 100%. Market structure is definitely the basis of everything, to be honest. I don't mind scalping, guys. I actually really don't mind it. It's just whether or not I have the time for it. Let's see, it's 40. No, let's see how much it. Okay, so my entry criteria, I'll go through that in a second. Do you consider candle closing an important? Yes, like candle closures are very, very important to me. When, for me, a really big part of my strategies are the highs and the lows. So I need a high or a low to be created, because let's just say, for example, where would you want to take the buy in this movement here? Would you want to take a buy up here or down here? You have to understand, like, okay, right, if I'm going to take a buy, I need a low to be created. So whatever time frame you're doing this on, the 15-minute, let's drop down to the 15-minute. Let's have a look at the 15-minute. So 15-minute right now is still very bullish. But if I'm to take a buy, I need this candle to print so that we can then have this low here. So, if I wanted to trade the 15-minute time frame, let's just pretend that that is closed. Our last low was kind of down here. So, that it created a higher low. Our safety kind of point is, if we're going to enter. I'm so sorry, guys. I can feel the more that I'm talking, it's really aggravating my throat. But yeah, so if we were going to enter for a 15-minute structure buy, we first need a low to be created. Because, for example, we're going up, down, up, down, up. Let's get rid of this. So, when you're looking for a buys in your 15-minute structure, you don't want to be buying up there, you want to be buying down here. So you want some type of support level to be created. And this is then what it's giving you, that support there. But yeah, we would have to wait for another 2 minutes and then we'll drop down. But yeah, for me, I am actually more on the sell side right now because of the 4 hour. I would prefer, if I'm going to trade the lower time frames, I would prefer to actually catch the sells so that it's the same bias as the higher time frame. Christopath. That's all right. No, I appreciate all of you guys who are here and support. It's great to see you. See the same faces. It's great. Okay, lower time frame. The trend. Oh, I think I've actually gone way higher. Okay. Yeah, I actually started going up instead of going down. So sorry about that, guys. 1 to 2 is definitely my favorite. Percentage, I don't like to risk anything more than 1% per trade, but the ideal with trading funded accounts is 0.5, 100%. It just gives you a lot more room. But I don't really like holding trades overnight. I'm just not really there yet with my trading in the sense of holding for long periods of time. I prefer just kind of being in and out of the markets. Great volatile market. Yes, I do prefer London, even though it has been a bit rubbish a lot of this year, but yeah, that is definitely my favorite time zone to be trading. Oh, Juliet. Oh, that's amazing. Honestly, I'm all here for the girls. As much as I love you guys, I am here for the girls. I really want more women traders in the industry. What are your thoughts on longs? Yeah, so like I was saying, I'm actually more for shorting gold, to be honest, because of the higher time frame right now, the 4 hour, just because of the structure. But I can trade both ends, but I need it to be in the correct place, because if I am to then take a buy, so if we have a look at the 1 hour, so the buys I would need to be taking at support level, where we aren't. What's going on? Can't zoom in. Yeah, I mean, I hope that you guys can see this. Let me just get rid of this quickly. Right now, the 1 hour is creating its high. So that's the resistance. If I was to be looking for buys, I would be doing it when it's created its low. I hope that makes sense. Um Oh, Ariel, that's amazing. Incredible. Definitely more of a day trader. Um I like, yes, like try to keep this very, very simple. Vivek, I've traded multiple strategies, but this for me, when I used to like really just scout the market, I literally just used to use the 15-minute time frame, support and resistance, and just waiting for the breakouts. But I'm talking when I used to scalp, I'm only trying to get like 20 pips. Like it's really, really in and out of the market, which I don't really trade that way as much now. I prefer trading like market structure. So all I mean by that is, is in a trending market. Um, in a trending market, I like trading the pullbacks. So yeah, you know, for example, this is an uptrend. I'm looking for buys down here, and then if we were then gonna do the opposite, and we're coming down, going up, coming down, going up, coming down, I'm then just looking for sales on these pullbacks. So yeah, like technically you can trade market structure on any time frame. If you want to get more opportunities, trading it on the 15-minute, if you have the time to kind of sit and watch, but you still have to have a lot of patience. So let's have a little look at what the 15 minutes doing. So yeah, the 15 minutes kind of created this low here. The 15-minute is still looking bullish. So if I'm looking for sales, I'm not going to be trading this until the 15-minute is looking bearish. What do I think about liquidity? I 100% take this into consideration. I'll go through that in a second. Pro trader. So last week it was the start of the illness. This week is the end of the illness. So I still have the cough and I'm still a little bit ill. But yeah, last week was the beginning. This week I have been really, really bad, but I'm feeling a lot better. Oh, Bashi, thank you for showing up. I'm feeling a lot better. I always want to still show up for you guys. Okay, so my kind of risk, I would say, is anywhere between 0.5% and 1%. um do I use any journaling software? No, because with your funded accounts, it's all journaled for you. I personally like to journal. Uh, I personally as well prefer actually doing it on paper. I know that this is so old school, but I take a lot more in when I actually write it down. I know it's not really ideal, but I do a lot of actually writing in a journal, because I've tried multiple times to keep up with an Excel spreadsheet and stuff. But I think it's just hard, when for me, when I journal, I don't want to just journal entry, you know, where you came out the trade by. I want to actually write down all of the lessons that have been learned from that trade, and because I want to be able to take it in, I just like actually writing it down. But with your ThinkCapital account, all of your trades will be tracked. Are you in a position right now? No, I'm not in a position right now. There is no position for me. I only had one this morning in London session. I was just really skeptical about this afternoon because of the fact that we did have red folder news, but we had no idea what time it was being released. Let me just check to see if it's even been released yet. Okay, it's actually been released now. Yeah, it's being released now. But yeah, we didn't actually know what time it was being released. So yeah, I was a bit like I wasn't really planning on trading New York today anyway. Thank you for I don't okay. um Azim, you like my English accent. Thank you very, very much. Um you ski? You are a little bit late. I also think 1% is enough. Yes, 100%. If you are trading a funded account, I definitely do not recommend risking over 1% at a time. Um, but bearish or bullish? Currently, right now, bullish. But it really is on the verge of it being either or, because this one candle is going to determine my answer for that. And because it's not closed, I can't answer that question. Up until this candle, I was looking for sells, but let's just show you guys what I would have seen here. We would have created our high on the 4 hour, and this is ideally where we'd be looking for our sells to take out that low. So there is your high. You would have dropped down to the 1 hour, and basically, what you're waiting for the 1 hour to do is be bullish. Sorry, not bullish, bearish. So this is, what we were at. It then breaks above its high and continues this kind of pullback. But you don't actually know. I've seen it plenty of times where it pushes really high up one way and then it just flips down. So because we've still got an hour and a half or even more, like that gives you plenty of time for this to actually flip the other way and continue down, because it does look like it keeps trying to go up and then rejecting. 3883 looking for a sell before a big bull. Yeah, I personally do think it is bearish right now. So ideally, like I was saying, I will only want to trade the lower time frames. I would only want to be taking the sells. So yeah, for me right now, it's just not giving. We don't have enough data right now. We need this to close, and then we can start dropping down. Dory, did you see any trade shift because of US? I mean, not really. No, no. Like, I wouldn't say gold has been really any different to how it has been the last month. Bullish. I mean, bullish is always the overall bias for me on gold, but because because I'm a day trader, I really very much take advantage of the buys and the sells. How was September? September was good. I really, really like trading all-time highs, to be honest. Really, really love all-time high trading. Please chart clear. Please chart clear video. Not too sure what you mean, Burham. But yeah, definitely always go with the higher time frame bias. But it all, again, like I said, depends on like what type of trader you are. If you're really someone who's trying to hold trades and whatnot, and if we have a look at gold, really, if you're really only going to trade the very, very high time frames, like the daily, the weekly, you're only ever really going to be looking for your buys. And I know some people will do that. They'll wait for, uh, you very rarely get very much red, but when you get that red, you then can start looking for your buys, because you have to be that type of trader that can hold this. That's the thing. For me to be trading on the daily and the weekly, I need to be someone that can hold those trades, which for me I'm not. So I come in and I come out of the market. So the highest that I go is the 4 hour, which is going to give you more structure. Like, for example, here we broke structure, we came down. I was happy to take to take a sell, and because it's gold, like these moves, even though zoomed out looks really small, you can still get quite good profits from it. Yeah. Sage, oh, thank you. I definitely don't feel it today. I feel rough. I definitely don't feel my greatest, but um say trader in your own accent. Can she see? Yes, I can see the YouTube comments. I'm literally just reading through. Please guide discipline out of traders. What are your other things you can be doing when you're off? So for me, I really think trading is very, very relevant to your life outside of the charts. Like if you're someone who hasn't got very much discipline or can never take a loss like in real life, because I know a lot of us can't deal with rejection, something doesn't go our way, we then think it's the end of the world. It will reflect in the charts, and I'm being really, really honest with you guys. Like the way that you are in real life really does reflect. So outside of the charts, I try to make sure that I'm actually bettering myself as a human. Like for me, I was very much a very undisciplined trader. So in my head I was like, right, what can I do outside of trading that requires discipline? And for me, one of those things was um, actually focusing on my health, because that's something that I always said that I was going to do, then never did. And it does take a lot of discipline to be focused on your health. You know, go to the gym and stay motivated. It takes a lot of discipline. So this year, I've actually been focusing on all of that type of stuff a lot more, and it's actually helped me massively within the charts. But yeah, you really get to know yourself, and it was really, really interesting. I got to interview some two of the ThinkCapital traders who have received payouts, and it was really interesting to hear that they said exactly the same thing when it comes to challenges, when it comes to trading. Not one of them said anything about the strategy being the hard thing. But this is the stuff that no one really talks about or no one really wants to hear about. So it proves that this is the missing piece of the puzzle, but it's still not the biggest part of, it's not the hottest topic. I only really trade gold, NQ, and silver sometimes. Yeah, I mean, not scalping isn't for everyone. Like I said, I actually don't mind scalping um if I actually have the time to do so. Uh I don't really trade forex pairs, guys. Like I know a lot of people always ask, but I actually just prefer commodities. Sorry guys, I am reading through some of these comments. It's confusing when the time frames looked. So Princess Rachel, this is the stuff that you have to learn when it comes to strategy if you are using different time frame analysis. You basically, like, the bottom line is, if you are looking at the 4 hour and it's telling you to sell, you can't do anything until all the time frames are lining up. So like I said, we drop down to the 1 hour. The 1 hour is looking bullish. We can't do anything. So there's actually no point dropping down again until the 1 hour has turned back to being bearish. Because right now the 1 hour and the 4 hour are saying different things. So if it depends, if you want to trade the 4 hour bias, then you have to wait for the 1 hour. If you want to trade the 1 hour bias, which is what I did earlier today, you can't be trading it when it's created its high. You want to be trading a buy when it's created its low. So again, there's nothing that you can do. I think trading is more about patience than so many other things. And again, a lot of people are not patient in real life. I've met people who they don't want to start something because they need it instantly. Everyone wants instant gratification. Um, think about that within yourself, guys. Are you someone that needs instant gratification, or can you just grind out and just trust the process that you're going to win eventually? Or do you need that instant gratification? Because most people outside of trading really, really struggle. They want instant gratification straight away. It's like going to the gym. If they aren't with their dream body within a month, then they're like, oh, I want to give up, you know? So this is a challenge account. Break and retested. Yes. So how do you stay calm after taking multiple losses consecutively? So with that, make sure you understand why you took those losses. Like, I've been dealing with someone today, and it's like the strategy that he uses only really works well in London. And time again, this is proven that it doesn't work in New York. But what did he do? He traded in New York. It's like this is where, guys, you're not even trying. You're just stuck in a loop. And until you can really just let go of the ego completely, you're never going to stay calm in these situations. If you know exactly why you've took those losses and you learn from them, you have no reason to not be calm. It's just a lesson. But if you know you're just going to ignore the lesson and repeat the same shit, then of course you're going to be angry and you're just going to go around in circles and just be stuck. Do you think that 2 consecutive time frames need to be the same direction for trade with the trend? So if I was to take a breakout trade on the 4 hour, I would just need the 1 hour to have bearish market structure. That's all. That's literally it on the breakout of a trend line. That's okay, Princess Rachel. Sir Dennis, definitely Forex. No worries, Vivek. Journaling is good. Journaling is really good if you're actually going to be fully honest with yourself. A lot of people aren't honest. I know, I should have brought my water up, but I forgot. Don't be horrible, I'm ill. Even if I was drinking water, it's not going to stop me from being ill. Yeah, I love ThinkCapital's journal system. Really, really good. I don't trade every day. I basically will trade when the right thing is shown up for me. If I don't get a trade, then I don't get a trade. News is released. Just going through what's on my watch list. I haven't even put my watch list on there. It's just the ThinkCapital's one that I guess anyone's gonna have. I wouldn't. Wishing to have subtitles. Oh. Do you think gold will drop? Like I said, guys, like I never try to predict the market. I'm literally gonna tell you what I see right now. I don't know if gold's gonna drop. I'm not that kind of trader. For me, I am just a price action trader. So once price leaves its footprints, I just follow along. I don't try to predict. I'm literally just reacting rather than predicting. Emery Tech, I'm so sorry if I am missing your questions, guys. I'm trying to read the questions, but they keep coming through really fast. What's your advice for us who are in drawdown with our evaluation? Princess Rachel, drawdown is normal. It's about how you deal with it and come out of it. It is what determines everything. Like I said, a loss shouldn't affect you if you actually learn from it and you understand why you've taken that loss. This is the thing. If it's just a lesson, there's no reason for you to spiral out of control. 1 month of discipline to pass my challenge. Exactly that. Yeah, I'm really sorry, guys. Yeah, the chat is a little bit behind. I agree and disagree, Lol. The outside doesn't necessarily have any something to do with trading. It's more how the person views trading as a job. Yeah, I mean, you can disagree, you can agree, but just from my experience from working with a lot of beginners, the way that they trade seems to be the way that they do life. Um, so that's just something, that I personally um, think is true. Yes, you need a good edge, but like I said, for example, my friend today, he's an extremely good trader. It's nothing to do with his edge, it's to do with his discipline and his mindset. But he behaves this way outside as well. He behaves the same way. It's like all or nothing, it's never enough. That greed, that instant gratification, it's mimicked, even though he has a good system, literally made him like 1,000 on a live account in the morning, but because he couldn't control his emotions, and it's repeated itself over and over again. So I get what you're saying, that yeah, you just need a good edge. If you just needed a good edge, everyone would be successful, because I mean, Bashi, you trade live. So many people share their strategy and everything, and still people struggle the most because everyone wants to talk about, oh, it's just purely about edge, and not actually face the truth. Because it's the one thing that traders don't really talk about, and we still all really, really struggle. But yeah, so sorry guys. I was really behind there on the comments. But like I said, right now, for me, the 4 hour has to close to give me a real indication for the 4 hour bias. But it looks like we could actually get a little bit stuck in this zone here. Gold likes to do this, so this is going to potentially might be a little bit of a death zone. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out next week. Okay, so let me do our giveaway, guys. But yeah, sorry, to kind of go off on a little tangent there about our mindset stuff, but yeah, if it was purely about needing a good edge, literally everyone would be making money. But it's because people can't control their emotions. Is not a big factor. It is literally the biggest factor, and it is very easy because some people who have very good mindset. So maybe someone like you, Bashi, you have a very good mindset. It's very easy for you to say all you need is a good edge, because actually all you need is a good edge. Whereas someone else who cannot control themselves, and they're an impulsive person, whatever, all those things that I was going on about, they need more than just the edge. And I'm just trying to be realistic for people who are newer to the industry. But okay, guys, I'm gonna go with our first winner. So first winner is oh god. Okay, here we go. I need to find a better way to do this, I think. Okay, let's see if he's here. Ayuski Trades. Ayuski Trades. Let me just type this in. Ayuski Trades. Oh, he's still here. Yeah, you're still here. Ayuski. Am I saying that right? That's you. Amazing. You're still there. You are our first winner. Yes, he's here. So guys, there's no point you other people saying yes, because there's only one guy, and I can see I'm hoping it is guy. Yes, you are a winner. So to claim your prize, what I will need you to do is just message me on Instagram. It's just Doey Trades. My only account is the one that has the blue tick, so that no other accounts are mine. But yeah, you are our first winner, so congratulations. But yes, Bashi, I saw your message. You are the GOAT, but just remember, not everyone else is the GOAT. So, right, second winner. Okay, here we go. Sha. There we go. Shah Sanket. There we go. I'm so I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. You're here, you're here, you're here. It's amazing. Okay, amazing. Perfect. Thank you so much for staying to the end. But yeah, like I said, message me on Instagram. It's just Doey Trades. Okay, last winner. This is the first because normally we always get like one person who isn't actually here. Let's go. Third winner. There we go. Emery Tech. Emery Tech. Emery Tech. Yes, there you are. I've just seen you. Emery Tech. There we go. I saw you there. Emery Tech. Amazing, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in, listening. Really, really appreciate all of your support. We've got our 3 winners for the week, Emery Tech. So if you can just drop me a message on Instagram, Doey Trades, make sure you register with ThinkCapital, and then I'll be able to get your accounts issued. But congratulations, guys, and I really, really appreciate you turning up for the live. See you guys later and have the most amazing weekend. Bye.